Sweet.
Which do you want me to read?
The our one on Instagram, and I'll read my one on Instagram, I think, and the X as well, I guess.
I got you.
I think we're set up now. All right.
Yeah.
Well,
we should be getting some people in here soon, but let's go ahead and start it up. You want me to host?
Well, yeah, let's go. Welcome back to another episode of the Bring the Thunder podcast. The Thunder take down the Pistons, and we're going to talk about it, I guess.
Yeah. We beat the Pistons 119-103. We're 29-1 against the Eastern Conference. SGA here had 32-6-3. Dub had 23-5-3. Chet had 22-11-4. 5 blocks, 2 steals. Dort ended with 14 points and 7 rebounds. Cason Wallace also 13-5-4. I mean, this is 11 straight wins for us. We got to break this down. And we already got a good amount of people here in the YouTube chat. We'll definitely address some of the questions and everything else, but welcome in, everyone. You want to talk about the first half?
Yeah, I didn't get to see the whole thing, but I think we got out and executed. It kind of slumped at the end of that second half. I think the Pistons got into a rhythm, but then we really got out after it in that start of the third quarter. It was just a game of runs like it normally is. But I think Shea started real good, but then he
started with 15 points in, I believe, the first quarter, which was a pretty solid, I guess, start. And then also Chet had a great start as well with some blocks and points in general. He was actually running full court twice against them, which I thought was impressive. And if he can start improving on that more and more and starts running to the paint while the center is kind of left behind and using his speed to his advantage, I feel like he used that really well and noticing just how to use that. And then also J-Dub was great coming off a lot of these set plays. I love the wheel routes that were running for him. So I thought he was really impressive just coming off the sets that we had. And then Cason was defensively just a monster. He got almost every loose ball or anything in the lane. He was there, and his presence was just so shown. I mean, it was impressive. And then obviously Lou Dort did what he normally does. Yeah.
I mean, the big three were a big three tonight. Shea, 33 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals, 2 blocks. Chet, 22, 11, 4, 6, 6 blocks. J-Dub, 23 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. Like, love to see it.
Yeah. Texan by Nature mentioned that the net rating went up or remained the same. I predict it's probably around the same. I mean, I'm not too concerned with it. It'll, still be top 3 in history. So no worries there. I'm trying to look and see. I want to mention some stats here or just some things from the game. Sam Presti has officially joined a historic list of NBA executives to lead the franchise by a multiple of 60-win seasons with entirely different rosters. He is the 4th ever person to do this. I mean, he joins Red Auerbach, Jerry West, Pat Riley, and now himself in that category. I mean, what do you think about that, man?
I mean, he's finally getting the credit he deserves. Like, everyone's always said, oh, he's the best GM, but now we're really here. Like, it's been a rebuild, and they were hating on the Thunder. I mean, we had to go through those seasons of losing every game, but now his genius is put into action, and it's incredible. I mean, we were having this discussion earlier about what the hell are we going to do this offseason? We have way too much talent, way too many draft picks. Like, do we even draft someone this offseason? Like, all this is coming into shape now, and it's such a great time to be a Thunder fan.
Yeah, it's the best time to be a Thunder fan. I mean, some highlights from this game. Shea's MVP case goes up. Early season, Chet Holmgren returns for this. Dort increases his DPOY case. We can get into some numbers that Royce Young had posted. Cason Wallace is obviously taking the leap. His numbers on the court, or like his stats, don't point towards his greatness. He's similar to guys like Caruso and Dort, where his numbers may not be that gaudy, but what he's doing on the defensive end is like next level. And then also we still have the possibility of 70 wins right now. If we just go 6-0 here in this next stretch, which is entirely possible, with a lot of these teams going to start resting their stars. A lot of them are going to start clinching playoff berths, things like that. And I mean, there's still teams out there in the West that haven't even clinched playoff berths, and we've done it since, I believe, like March 21st or something crazy. Like it's been a hot minute, like maybe a week or two has gone by since we've already, clinched play in, and a lot of these teams are still kind of battling it out for that.
Yeah, it's hard to think, like, we're miles ahead of the second seed, but we're still 1 and then 2, even though the gap between 2 and 10 is closer. It's
and the gap between 3 and 13 is closer than they are to us. And that's where Jokic is seated right now. So there's like Jokic fans that are still arguing an MVP case. And it's like, brother, that's been over like 2 weeks ago, man. Like we had a 12 and a half game lead back then. I mean, it's only at a 16 and a half right now, like, and maybe 17 and a half or whatever right now. So it's well past the argument stage of even talking about it. Like, I don't think any stat that Jokic puts up can really even put a dent. Like, I don't think the odds moved at all after the 60, 10 and 10 game that Jokic had. They didn't even move. They didn't even budge. And there's still people, pushing for that, which is, admirable, but hey, man, it's over.
Another thing from this game is it is awesome to see that we're winning a game shooting 26% from 3. Like, just to stick it out in the fourth quarter when Detroit made the run, and then we finished with a 12-0 run, I believe. It's just very encouraging, especially you had players like Isaiah Joe, who went 1 from 5 from 3, then Shea, who was 38% from the field. Like, it wasn't a great, like, efficient night, but it was still a great, like, defensive night. Great. I mean, defense turns into offense, and defense wins championships. So that was very relevant tonight.
Yeah, I'm always looking at the stocks. In total, we had 23 stocks, 12 steals this game, 11 blocks as a team. Chet Holmgren had 6 blocks just by himself. Ridiculous player. I mean, and then, most of the starting lineup had at least 1 to 3 steals each. And I mean, that's just impressive. Like how many stocks we get as a team, especially in this game. We really locked down this Pistons team. I believe even if they had any of their other guys, like, I think same result. We would have just played our guys a lot longer. Like J-Dub only had 23 minutes. Chet only had 22 minutes. Kaysen I'm looking at the points, but Chet and J-Dub had 33 minutes. But I feel like we could have still played those guys a lot longer, or even, extended like Hartenstein's minutes. He only got 23. Joe got 22 minutes tonight. So, I mean, honestly, a lot of the heavy lifting was done by the starting lineup. Now that I'm looking at it, a lot of them, from a plus-minus perspective, the lowest guy in the starting lineup was J-Dub with a +8. Dort, Kaysen absolutely locked up. +18 for Dort, +11 for Kaysen Wallace, +30 by Shea. I mean, he was great on the defensive end. 3 steals. He also had 2 blocks, I believe, either by the first quarter or the first half, which was absolutely ridiculous. He's one of the best shot blocking guards in the league. He's been that for the past 3 seasons. He's also like, as a season total, he has 20 plus more blocks than Jokic, who's a center, which is like, what are we even talking about?
Having a +30 while shooting 40% from the field or 38% from the field is insane. I think it just shows there's more to it than the stats, and that's why Shea's favored for MVP.
Yeah. I mean, 2 for 7 on his 3 points. That's where it's like anytime he shoots or gets at least 5 or 4 3-pointers made, he can easily get 40 points. I mean, he's one of the few players in history right now, at least this season, that's averaging almost a point per minute. I mean, I think he's at like a 0.9 or 0.95 or 0.96 rate where he averages a point per minute, which is like as close as you can get to, being an all-time scorer in the league. So, I mean, he's just going to continue that season after season now that we kind of expect that from him. But to even expect that from a player where it's like, hey, if we know Shea gives us 30 minutes at minimum, he's getting 30 points. I mean, that's ridiculous.
I wanted to bring up this comment about taking the Lakers back-to-back really seriously. I think it's very true because there's a big chance that we'll see them in the playoffs, either in the second round or, most likely in the second round, right? So as much scouting and all of that we can do, but we also don't want. I mean, beating them would be good twice, and it's a good test going into the playoffs. So I think those are two big games coming up.
Yeah, and if we can actually push them back to the 5th seed, that'd probably be our best case scenario, to push a LeBron and Luka led team to a 5th seed where they don't have home court in their first series. They'd also be out of our bracket in that case. We could have a scenario where the Nuggets and the Lakers are not in our bracket. If the Lakers end up as a 5 seed, the Nuggets end up, I believe, as a 3 seed. So that's still in the playbook, especially with how the Warriors and Grizzlies can kind of still, if they can get a couple wins and we can get 2 back-to-back losses for the Lakers, it's still possible that that scenario arises. It looks like Rockets have pretty much all but secured the 2 seed as long as they just keep up what they're doing, and I feel like they will. So best case scenario for us is Nuggets getting that 3 seed, ending up outside of our bracket, and then Lakers also ending up outside of our bracket, and that's something we can control. Not saying that, we want to avoid those guys at all. Like if we saw them in the second round, I'm still taking us over them regardless. They don't even have a competent center, and to deal with Hartenstein and Chet at the same time, and to expect a LeBron 40-year-old to play for a 7-game series at center and not be gassed, I think that's just a ridiculous expectation to have. I mean, we'll see how that pans out for them. I know Lakers fans are very hungry to play us, but I don't think that'd end up very well for them. And that's not.
They don't want to see us.
Yeah, they don't want to see us in that scenario. I feel bad that they don't. If they had any kind of center outside of Hayes, like I'd be like, okay, like that's a matchup, cool. I just don't think we would lose in a 7-game series. Like max, they can take us maybe 6, maybe. If all things really go well for them. Luka would have to also be playing out of his mind. Like he'd have to average what he typically averages in the playoffs, and he's not done that, and he's not shown doing that in the regular season or in the playoffs against our defense. And our defense is improved.
Yeah, not against Dort.
Yeah, not just against Dort. Now we have Caruso in the mix, Kaysen in the mix. It's like, there's just no chance for that. No. I also wanted to highlight on the Pistons and some of their players. I thought Asar Thompson tonight, he's a blur on defense. Like he'll literally be out of the frame and just magically appears in frame to get the steal or the block. His brother does that same thing, but I just wanted to point that out from their end. I felt like Dennis Schroeder really kept him in the game. He made really timely buckets. I know they're all negatives in the plus minus, but this team really fought, especially being shorthanded against a Thunder team that's on pace to win 70 games. I thought they had a great fight, but just to think about it, like Lou Dort on Malik Beasley, only 11 points tonight. He went 4 of 15 from the field, 3 of 10 from the 3-point line as a primary defender on him. Ridiculous. The only guy that really did anything was Tim Hardaway. And he didn't have any of our primary defenders on him. Everyone else,
on
like
that,
Schroeder or even Tobias Harris, when we put Lou Dort on him, pretty much shut him down too. So
and on Tim Hardaway, he had 21 points in the first half and then 2 points in the second half. So that was a great adjustment to realize that he was heating up, and just being able to make that adjustment makes me really hopeful for this playoffs when that random bench player that we know is just going to go crazy for no reason at all, like PJ Washington, those kind of guys, like the guys who shouldn't be going good, when they go good, we know we can shut them down.
Yeah, we got tons of comments flowing in, kind of all over the place. We can address some of these IG comments on our main page. Skies is always in the chat, so I want to show love to him. He said Chet was big time tonight when it counted. He was getting pushed around a little bit in the fourth quarter. Love that the team stepped up when Shea was, not doing his best tonight. That Reggie mentioned the poster behind you. He thought it was really fire. And Pretty Boy Swag said, we had straight clamps tonight. We got a bunch of YouTube comments here.
A lot about the Schroeder.
Yeah, this Schroeder and Shea incident. We can talk a little bit about it. I haven't heard the live feedback because you can hear when guys are on the court, like what they're talking about. So I'll have to go back and listen to it, and I'll probably post about it or whatever after the fact. I haven't had a chance to even listen to what they were talking about it. But did you get an understanding of, I think was Schroeder trying to point out the fact that we were still scoring on them with very little time left? That's what I thought the argument was mainly about. But I didn't really catch it.
I thought it was just Schroeder give Shea a bit of a push in the back, and then Shea was like, I'm not gonna take that from you. Like, just kind of like not squared up. He must have said something, and then Schroeder didn't like it. But that's the whole bad boys persona. Like, I think they try to push it a bit too hard, but like just accept the loss. Like, I think it was just a frustration foul, and I mean,
okay.
They almost had us, but I mean,
I think he was frustrated from the previous play. J-Dub, we were running out the clock, and J-Dub ended up hitting a three, and then that led him to fouling Shea, and then getting into Shea's ear about, hey, why are you guys kind of running up the score? That's what it seemed like. And Shea was essentially arguing like, hey man, we got time on the clock. We're going to keep battling against you guys. And that's what I thought the argument seemed like, at least from my end, because I feel like obviously they want to have that persona of like, we're the bad boys, we're bringing it back, which is fine. I think having an identity, culture, whatever, like it's great for that team. I think it's only going to help them as they move forward. So I didn't mind it at all. And I think they'll be fine after the game. They'll hug it out. Those guys know each other really well. And I mean, Shea's a guy that's not going to really back down. And they both had a point, right? Like, it's just silly argument in my opinion.
Here's something. Texan by nature said, I thought Dennis called Shea a free throw merchant. I've never seen Shea react that way. And then Jonathan said, we started to run a play with 47 seconds on the clock. So I don't think
that's what it was.
We had 40.
We were running out the clock, and I think Chet threw it out to J-Dub, and I think the other guys kind of had called it at that point. Like, the score was pretty much unbeatable at that point. 47 seconds, we were up like 11 or 12 or something, and then blew the lead even further, and then they got kind of upset, and that's what it seemed like. The whole game, they were pretty upset about a lot of the calls. Like, every time Shea would drive in, they're going over and they're like, replay that, like review that. And it's like, I mean, we've seen it more and more times. Like, this team causes the most crash outs I've ever seen in a season ever.
Yeah.
Like, between the foul merchant to the fans, screaming that every time Shea's at their arena, the coaches going absolutely berserk post game. And then even on the court, like, we got like guys literally jumping up and down after every Shea foul. And it's like, they're like trying to scream to the ref, like, no, that's not a foul, when they're clearly slapping his hands down and they can't guard him. So I've never seen this many crash outs.
I'd be pretty mad if I was on the court, got a screen, Casing comes, got a screen, Dort comes, like, just not being able to
that's
score.
another, yeah, that's another added factor is like, I'll see them kind of get clamped up, and then on the other end, Shea's getting a bunch of calls, and it's like, yeah, I'm gonna be upset. Like, if I was on the court, I'm fouling harder than they are, than what I've seen teams do to Shea. Like, they should be absolutely, obliterating him going to the basket, because I'm surprised that doesn't happen more often. Like, if you're gonna get calls, like, they might as well be hard fouls, but most of these fouls are like, him being really smart with his angles, knowing when the guys are gonna just try to pick his pocket, and he's always one step ahead when it comes to stuff like that. Like, best driver in the NBA for the past 3 seasons at least, if not 5 seasons in a row. But he'll do a thing where it's like he'll beat you to the step, and he knows what your defensive like mindset is, and he'll just attract the foul. Like it's something special. It'll be studied later on, like as his career moves forward, but more and more players should definitely look at the way he just initiates contact, and also he knows when contact is coming. So he'll drive up his arms, do whatever he has to do to get the calls. And people call that foul baiting, but it's like we've seen Kobe, MJ, guys of their caliber do this for years on end. I mean, Kobe was a master at, if you put your hand on the wrong hip, he's rising up to shoot, and he's getting the 3-point foul every time, or even the mid-range foul every time. And Shea just does that going to the basket. It's the same discipline when it comes to the offensive end, but he just does that going to the basket, and he's mastered it.
Yeah, it'll be appreciated as well in the future. Not right now, but that's the way it goes with greatness. Really, is there's a lot of hate against it at the time, and then as it ages and as time moves on, people love it and look back on it nostalgically. So it'll be interesting to see who does that in like 10, 20 years when we know we've been sticking up for him.
Yeah, exactly. I want to read off a couple more stats here, or just like points that I want to point out. Is the 29-1 against the East. We're 1-1 only against the Cavs. Celtics 2-0, Knicks 2-0, Pacers 2-0, Pistons 2-0, Bucks 2-0, Magic 2-0, Hawks 2-0, Heat 2-0, Bulls, Raptors 2-0, Nets 2-0, 76ers, Hornets, Wizards, all 2-0. Like, that's ridiculous that against the other conference, we only lost one game. And the game that we lost, we didn't even have, I believe, our full roster. Obviously, I don't think we had Chet at that point, but it is what it is, right?
Like, was it, or
yeah, it's either one of the bigs we're missing. The other crazy stat from tonight is Shea has 48 30-point games this season. He's leading, obviously, by a margin of 10. Giannis is the next closest with 37. Jokic is 28. Tatum is 27. Booker and Edwards both have 23. I mean, all his stats from like a 30-point, 20-point, 50-point game, like obviously he's leading, but he grows that every single game. Like you can just book him for the 20 and the 30. Also tonight, he broke the record, or he tied the record for MJ's 20-point games. He has 69 on the season. Ridiculous. He's entering new categories from an offensive standpoint, like every single game, and breaking new records. Even the Thunder team as a whole, there's a bunch of Thunder-only team stats that I also wanted to point out as well. Thunder has won 50 games this season by 10-plus points. That ties the 1972 LA Lakers for the all-time NBA record. And we still have 6 games left to break this record.
Against the Pelicans and Jazz. So.
Yeah, exactly. Lou Dort was the primary defender on Malik Beasley, and Beasley had 0 points on him. 0 for 8 shooting. Tim Hardaway had Dort move on to him, and he only scored 2 points on 1 of 4 shooting. The thing that's really impressive about Lou Dort's MVP case is the lack of shot attempts the other team's player, whoever he moves on to, like in the Boston Celtics series against Jaylen Brown, as soon as he moved on to him, he only shot 5 times, I think, that whole game. Like, that's ridiculous. The amount of lack of shooting confidence the other player has. Go ahead.
Yeah, and that's its own talking point. The fact that people aren't shooting just because he's there, like that just shows his defense and his presence. We had a couple comments. One was, damn, no other team in our conference clinched yet, which is crazy how we've clinched the first seed and no one else is.
The Rockets just clinched tonight.
Oh, yep, as of today, yeah.
Yeah, but a team finally clinched by April 3rd, and we've clinched a long while ago.
Then this one says, do you think that Jones Kid is worth to continue playing? I don't really know how I feel about him. It doesn't feel like he does too much. Well, he's still a rookie, and I think he did I mean, he had some very good defensive flashes tonight, which is good because early on this season and in the preseason, he was fouling a lot. I think he's getting used to this the style of play and the opposition, and just playing physical defense, but within the rules. So um, I,
He looks a lot
I
more
think
comfortable.
And on a night tonight, like tonight, where we didn't have that many players, so it was just Flagler, Carlson, and Dukas who didn't play, I believe. So end of the rotation. You can't be mad at him playing, but when we're healthy, he won't be playing. So, but yeah, I think he's a good prospect we can develop behind the scenes.
Yeah, I think the only thing, like from a development aspect, that he needs to get in order is more of his shooting, and I think that'll come around with more experience and time spent with the shooting coaches and everything else. I feel like the position that we play him in is, he's someone that can dribble up the court with the ball. I feel like we're putting him in a better role than playing him as an undersized four, which was kind of his initial prospect. That was the reason we brought him in, because he's an elite rebounder. But I think against NBA talent, that same thing from the college level doesn't translate as well when you're playing against as elite athletes. So he's had to make an adjustment of not just, not fouling as much, but also his IQ has gotten better. Like, he's just a lot more calm on the ball. And we're just putting him in better spots. So he'll improve year over year. I think he's worth playing in that sense. Like, he's someone we've invested in, and his play can still grow. Like, I think his only part that he needs to improve on is just his offensive game. Otherwise, he's a solid role player for us for years to come. Like, on the defensive end, we know what he's going to bring. From a rebounding perspective, we know what he's going to bring. As long as he can just hit a couple shots in the corner or on the wings, that's all we really need from him. And I think that's the adjustment that we've made. We don't ask him to do more than he needs from an offensive standpoint, and we know what he's going to bring everywhere else.
And I've said it time and time again. We have 18 technically spots on the roster, but 15 on the main roster. The 15th and 14th men should be guys with huge upside. Just risks. Well, not risks, calculated risks. Like, they could be something great. If they're not, we're not going to play them anyway, so it doesn't matter, right? So, yeah. But this comment was interesting about can't wait to see Topic and AJ Mitchell. So AJ Mitchell should be back for the next game, I believe.
Yeah, he's off the injury report. He was listed game to game before the game, and then he was completely off of it to start. So he was moving pretty freely.
So exciting.
So, yeah, super. I think that's one of the most exciting things as a Thunder fan, him coming back and like gelling with this roster that has grown so much. And then he's also had a bunch of time to rest up, watch the game, and he was growing himself when he was on the court. So I think him seeing how much improvement the roster has seen from a bench standpoint, that the bench guys are kind of rocking and rolling now with hitting their shots. I think that's where it's going to be huge for him, because he's a great playmaker, great defender. Those are the two things that he really brings. And then also his ball handling. Like, he can score whenever he wants, but the other parts of his game are like really crucial. And then Topic, potentially a top 3 pick from last season's draft, just sitting there waiting to come back, improving his jump shot with our shooting coaches. I mean,
and I think AJ Mitchell's so exciting because AJ Mitchell's return is so exciting because his last 3-4 weeks have been so boring of just 20-point blowout, OKC win, and we're just cruising through. But now we get to see something new, something that we got taken away from us. So, someone's asking what happened with Dennis and Shea. I believe the Thunder were running a play, 40 seconds left in the game. Schroeder didn't like it. Fouled Shea pretty hard, but not much to it, really. Just a bit of a scuffle of the bad boys versus the I guess the good boys.
I guess so.
Well, not much else to talk about. I think we've covered just about everything.
Yeah. We're up next against the Rockets here soon. We just got another couple comments. Carl said, how do you feel about the FanDuel network crew? And he also felt like the stream got blacked out. I'm not going to read the rest of that. I'm taking that out. Let's see. I hope Coach pairs Mitchell with Kenrich because we could really see many backdoor cuts. Yeah, that'd be a great play. Kenrich is really good at running the backdoor cuts. I think that'd be a great pairing. Like, I think those latter half of the games after this Rockets and Lakers run, once we see AJ in the second half of the players kind of play with possibly Shea and J-Dub and Chet resting a couple of these games, like we'll still probably be winning those, but just to see those guys out there more and prepare for the playoffs, like super excited about that. Lou Dort is a top 15 shooting guard in the league? Question mark.
Depends who you ask, I think. Thunder fans, probably yes, but there's a lot of stat watchers out there, and his impact isn't seen on the stat sheet, but
there was a response.
It's seen on the opposition stat sheet.
Yeah, there's a response on X on one of the stats that Royce Young had brought up, and the guy was like, "Hey, look at these stats compared to XYZ players," and it's like that kind of defeats the purpose of when you're thinking about a Lou Dort. Like, you're not saying the things all on the stat sheet, even on the advanced stat sheet. Like, there's certain things you just can't see unless you're actually watching the games. And Lou Dort kind of falls into that category. So as a high-end pick and pop shooter now and shooting like, I think 39% from the three. And then on top of that, top 3 defensive player in the NBA right now, alongside most of the bigs that you even put up against him. I feel like you can kind of make a case for him, whatever, as a Thunder fan. What's the best record for the lead differential from 1 seed to the 2, 13 games? I have that pulled up right now. We're 14 games, or now 14 and a half game lead. And then we have a 14-game lead and a 17-game lead against the 3rd seed. So, yeah, we can start to wrap it up here. I appreciate everyone for joining in. We've got 61 concurrent viewers. We have our next matchup coming up here pretty shortly against the Rockets. Super exciting. I think that's going to be a great playoff test before the playoffs. We get to see our full lineup in order. We have barely seen Shea, Chet, Hartenstein, J-Dub all kind of on the court, and I'm glad they're all healthy. We had that J-Dub scare. We didn't really talk much about it, but he seems fine. It was just a quick knee bruise, knee contusion, if you want to call it that. So also, if anyone wants to join and chat with us, we can DM us on Instagram. Make sure you drop a follow if you like this content on X, YouTube, IG, wherever you're viewing us. We appreciate you guys. We do this after every live game, and we'll start soon doing these in the playoffs. We'll probably be going live during the games. You guys can join in, chat with us. We appreciate all the viewers. Thank you so much.